A very difficult but incredible savings goal. If you're a two-income household, live on one income, save the rest. What are the mistakes if you're pursuing that initiative? I got that and more coming up. My name's Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. All right, so it's not for everyone, but way back when, and I'm saying like when I was a kid, I remember hearing the financial phrase or saying or goal or whatever you want to call it. Hey, well, when you get married, live on one income and save the rest. And I always, because I'm a geek and from an early age, I was sort of fixated on those sort of financial hacks, if you will. I remember thinking, oh, that's so good. Now, I know it's not for everyone, and I know the world is different, and I know we've got crazy inflation and all of those other reasons, right? But it's hard. There's a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of reasons why you might even say this is impossible. It's not impossible. We've helped clients with it. And the benefits are pretty astounding, right? If that's the case, if you do this, if you actually are in a two-income household, you live on one income, you save the other one, you're probably pretty prepared when a financial emergency comes up. You're probably taking, appropriate measures that if all of a sudden a financial curveball hits or something like that, whatever, then you're probably more prepared. You're probably more likely to be on track for your long-term goals or to be ready for those when they're at your doorstep. And you're probably going to be able to accomplish more goals as well, both short-term, intermediate term, and long-term. And so you can't really deny the benefits of it. It's just exceedingly harder to do in today's society. But as we've served thousands of people over the years, we've helped many who are actually employing this strategy or some variation of it. And along the way, we've seen them navigate some challenges with this process or help them, sort of guided them through some mistakes when you're living on one income and saving the rest. I thought I'd point out 3 of the most common mistakes if you're pursuing this to help you overcome them and make the most out of this financial habit. The first mistake that we see predominantly when a married couple with 2 incomes is living on one and saving the other is they're not maximizing their tax shelters. So if you're going to pursue this, live on one income and save the other, find a way to do so that you're optimizing your tax shelters. Let me give you an example. Say you're, the individual who's you're living off of, whose income you're living off of, earns this much, and they've got a 401k available to them and all that sort of stuff. And the other income that you're saving, they earn this much, and it's enough to fully max out their retirement plan. Okay, and then there's more that you can save, and instead of having that money go into another retirement plan or into another tax shelter, the thought is simplistically, thinking of it as separate in buckets of money. Well, we're supposed to save this. I can't save any more of it into retirement accounts, so I guess I'll just save it into this other account. When in fact, as a household, there's more tax shelters that you could fund. The individual's income who you're living on, you could actually fund their retirement account. And you might say, well, that sort of breaks the rules here. I know. And so, rigidly, you might think, well, I'm not allowed to do that. But when you look at your entire financial situation, yeah, you're not maximizing you're not taking full advantage of your tax shelters. So that maybe didn't cross your mind. Also funding that spouse's Roth IRA, maybe doing maximizing the family contribution to the HSA, something like that. Oftentimes we see this, and it's not a big shift once you present this to someone, but when a married couple has 2 incomes and they're living on one and saving the other, one of the very, very first things that we do is point out some ways that they can improve contributing to tax shelters and be more efficient with their tax savings. So work with your certified financial planner on that. That's one of their jobs. What's your tax shelter strategy? Again, they're fully going to promote and support and encourage you in that live on one income, save the other, but they're going to help point out how you can do so in a really tax efficient way. And speaking of missing out on tax shelters, one of the other things that you miss out on is possibly some tax credits or tax benefits. Specifically, I'm thinking about the retirement savers credit. That if you're in a household with two incomes and you're living on one and you're saving the other, odds are you do a great job of managing your lifestyle, managing your expenses. And because you're saving so much, you might be saving so much pre-tax that your income is below a certain threshold where you are eligible for the retirement savers credit. Well, the way the retirement savers credit works, it's a credit on the first $2,000 that each spouse contributes to retirement. And if only one spouse is contributing to retirement, then you're losing out on some of those tax benefits as well. The second mistake that we see, I wouldn't say often, but when you're living on one income and saving the other, is sometimes you're missing the company match of that person's retirement plan of whose income you're spending. So in that same example, now this is very much connected to that first mistake, but we see this from time to time. In this example, if the individual whose income you're saving, if they don't max out their retirement, so there's not extra that you have that you could put towards retirement, or maybe that money that you're saving, you've got, or that income that you're saving, you've got half of that you want to save for retirement, the other half you're saving for known upcoming expenses, sort of a new house or new vehicle or something like that, and you're not maximizing your retirement, then the person's income that you're living on, if they've got a 401k, and there's a match available, if you're not doing at least enough to reach the full max, then you're missing out on some free money, some free dollars, some dollars that are there that if you just restructure a little bit of how you're making your contribution towards retirement, there could be more money on the table. So taking advantage of that company match. And then the final mistake, and this one, it's not a biggie, but it is very common for individuals that are two-income household, living on one, saving the other, is saving too much of that income for short-term expenses. Sometimes we see this where an individual or this family, this couple is saying, yeah, we're only living on one income. And then when you look at what they're saving for, that other income, well, they're saving it just to spend it, in the next 6 months or in the next year or something like that. So it's really like you are living on two incomes. One of those incomes is covering your monthly expenses. The other one is just covering your delayed expenses, your delayed spending. And you're not getting the long-term traction of saving up that other income for your long-term goals. In truth, there's got to be some sort of balance. You guys know our sort of operating system for your cash flow is a 3 bank account system where you've got money that you're saving, that is going into your immediate spending, your checking account, and you've got all your normal monthly bills budgeted out where you know how much is coming in and how much is going out and for what, for all your monthly expenses. But then that second bank account is where the magic happens, and this is where you're setting money aside for known upcoming expenses. And I don't mean like known upcoming expenses, someday I'm going to retire, so I'll set money. No, your delayed spending these are short-term. Well, I know Christmas is coming. I know a vacation's coming. I know we want 3 vacations this year. I know we're going to need to put tires on the car next year. I know I've got auto insurance expenses or life insurance expenses. Sometimes I know we want to do this house remodel and it's going to take 2 or 3 years to save up for. So that's what you're putting there. Those are all very, very crucial to your financial life. And if you ignore them and don't save them up, then you're going to use credit for those and you're sort of chasing your tail, if you will. You're not making progress in your financial life. And it's very, very, very appropriate to say, well, maybe we're living on one income and that's all of our monthly expenses, and this second income is helping to fund that delayed expense. Well, yeah, that's great. But I would make sure that there's balance, that second income is not just funding your delayed expenses, it's also funding your long-term future expenses. There should be balance there. Instead, I would reframe it as that second income is really your goal achievement money. And having that money, some of the goals would be doing this house remodel in a couple years, or saving up for a new vehicle purchase. But also some of the goals are being able to retire someday or getting debt-free from the house or something like that. And using that second income, if you're truly living just on the one, using that second income to cover and help balance all of those goals. So really prioritization. Ideally, and the way I view it is your spending is your bucket number one and bucket number two. It's your immediate spending, but it's also your delayed spending. So I would push you and encourage you and hope that you could find a way, if you're going to live on one income, that one income covers both your monthly needs and your non-monthly needs. And it's truly that second income that goes towards all your long-term savings. But you've got to sort that out, build out that budget, work with your CFP on that structure. So there you have it. Are you pursuing? Could you pursue? Could you get uncomfortable, but really put yourself in a position to accelerate the progress towards your financial priorities and your long-term financial goals? Spend one income, live on one income, and save the other. It's hard to do, but it's also hard to imagine that you're not going to make a lot of financial progress if you do that and avoid a lot of financial strife and pain if you do that as well. Work with your certified financial planner. Implement that strategy if you're able to some one degree or another, and avoid these mistakes. Your CFP can help. If you don't have a CFP on your team, contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with a K. WiseMoneyShow.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.